2 signs. Every time he bought a new house, he wanted 2 signs made. And he gave me this Kabbalah book, and he gave me a Disney book that had Grandpa Donald Duck painting hex signs on the barn. A triple distal thing, 3 distal things. And he painted them right side up to let the good luck in, and the other side of the barn was upside down to let the bad luck out. And he said, I want this design, I want this border, and I want the Kabbalah in the center. The Jacob's Ladder Kabbalah or something like that. So they gave me $100 cash, and I don't want you to ever paint this design for anybody else, except you can paint. You can make yourself 2. So I have 2 hanging up on the house, but I open up this Disney cartoon and Donald Duck's grandfather has hex on. I'm like, this is really cool. Donald Duck's painting hex signs on the
That's
barn.
funny. That's awesome.
And the receipt came and I went, and he's like, here, get a pair. Like, yeah, it happens.
It does. That's pretty cool.
Sometimes the brush gets pregnant, what they call, where it builds up back here and you're painting and all of a sudden it lays out a big old blob of paint. They always call that the pregnant brush. Keep it clean.
Love it.
So what's going to happen here, this watered down latex, this is enamel after I did all the white enamel. But I started by putting the watered down latex on. That seals the paint, so to speak, so the enamel doesn't leach out into it. So on these 2 where I have the white stripe, this is going to disappear in a couple years, but it's going to be another little raised layer that degrades slower than the bare stuff. They're not really as straight as, it was at a lecture I did in Jersey, and I held my sign up, and you look, and the lines are, you look at it, and it's all straight. But I said, well, it all fools the eye. My mom had a stand that sold novelty stuff. So we had those signs, Virginville Intercourse, Peach Bottom. We had marriage certificates, birth certificates, trivets, and silk screens. And my dad was set up in the arts and crafts barn, so he had the hand-painted ones. So I still have stuff over the years.
I love the humor,
I do too. You got like the same type of sense of humor we have, so I love it. I love it.
I'm glad I didn't take. I should have took it to the show today, but I didn't.
No.
But because I was looking at these, of course, you know all the towns with all the funky names.
Well, Hinkleton. They're known for
No,
their.
I mean, the seven names.
Oh, okay.
Virginville's 3 miles from here. Out your way is Paradise, Intercourse, Birdenham, I think is in Berks County. Fertility, Peach Bottom. What did I miss? Blue Ball.
I love it.
I made one of these for somebody that wanted all the towns in, so I had to make this little story that wrapped around.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Birdenham ain't quite Intercourse,
My dad would love these.
I hung these up to Folk Festival, and boy, they giggle at that.
Like, Blue Ball's probably about, 10 miles away from me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Virginville used to be Virginsville, and I don't know when they changed the name 100 years ago.
And the funny part is, if we tell people this that don't even know anything about Pennsylvania, they would not believe a single thing that we tell them. It was like, we cannot make this up.
I kind of feel like she was going to see what I'd say. Oh yeah, that's my design. I could get that, you know, knowing that she knew it was her father's design. So 10 years later, 15 years later, you know, I'm a restoration carpenter. Well, we sided a house out near Virginville where the other daughter lived, and she was like 85 or something. And one day after work, I sat with her and questioned her about her father. She gave me all these pictures. She pulls out those watercolor, and I open them up. I'm like, oh my God, this is like, they belong in a museum, you know?
Yeah.
And they are now at the Heritage Center in Kutztown.
Wow.
But this is Patrick's other book that he wrote from 2013. So that's a fantastic book as well.
That had to be an honor meeting his daughters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But the funny thing, when I met her, the next day, Ivan Hoyt's another painter there, another Hexine painter. He comes running down to my stand. He goes, "Did you know there was a Milton Hill around here?" I'm like, "No." I looked in the antique auction. I looked over there. I can't find it anywhere. I was wondering if you heard about it. I'm like, I didn't hear about it, but if you find it, I want to see it. Thinking there was an original Milton Hill. Had no clue. They were walking by his stand or talking to him and talking about my Milton Hill. So he didn't know it was the Milton Hill that I painted. So he thought there was an original Milton Hill. She comes back, she had a week pass, I guess, and she bought the sign. I gave her a real good price because it was Milton Hill's daughter. So here that story became, oh, there's an original Milton Hill here. Well, it was my sign and she bought it. So that was kind of a funny story as well. But, you know, this book has there's a chapter on Milton Hill in this book too. There's a chapter on these are ghosts. There's Elbridge's interior art. And Elbridge is a mystical, that diamond we find carved in a lot of barns, outhouse doors. And it's that diamond I use in a rooster, but it comes out of the Vesica piscis. So it's an oval, but it makes equilateral, you know, when you draw straight lines. So